I thought it's important to look at Farage's Coutts business, because I think it's important, among other things, to give credit where credit is due. And I don't think anybody looking at my channel can be in any doubt that I don't rally round Mr. Farage. I don't particularly care much for him. But I think when he raises something which is important and he's right, then we need to we need to say so, and we mustn't allow any sort of prejudice to get in the way. Isabel Smith says, "I hope they go to jail, the pair of them." No, that's about the Baroness. Oh, there we are. Mark Daly, 1648, says, Farage bombed on I'm a Celebrity as he came across as boring. Of course, yes, I'm sure. Bunty Joy says, you give Farage far too much attention. I disagree entirely. I don't think I'm responsible for Farage's PR in any way, and I think it's important that we grip the nettle when it's there, if necessary, uproot it. But ignoring it just breeds more nettles. And when you look at the Travers Smith report, it's very much a subjective report, and it's very much a report. The NatWest website is full of suggestions that it's been vindicated. That's certainly not what Bloomberg says, and Mohammad Syed, the new Coutts boss, has recognised that its approach over Farage was wrong, that lessons need to be learnt, and that he apologises. So I don't think the NatWest report, as communicated in the NatWest site, is reasonable, and people who are saying on the comment section that Farage has been vindicated, that Coutts has been vindicated, and Farage emerges with egg over his face. This isn't true. Farage emerges as having done the right thing, and the efforts by Travers Smith to whitewash the event come across as limp and lukewarm. The debanking scandal cost, let's not forget, the chief executive, Dame Alison Rose, her job, and the law firm Travers Smith found that the decision-making on the closures by in Coutts might have been consistent with relevant standards, and that they contain no evidence of discrimination due to political views, but that the way the matter was handled was clumsy. And if you look, no evidence of discrimination due to political views, that's not actually saying there is no discrimination due to political views. It means the evidence is not clear. Farage would point to the documents that he got through the Freedom of Information, where it does appear that a report was drawn up talking about his political views, and that these were judged not to be consistent with NatWest-Coutts ideas. And NatWest said the decision was purely commercial, but Farage, I think, was able to show clearly that Coutts had determined that his politics were at odds with our position as an inclusive organisation. It's there in black and white, and Alison Rose was forced to resign after. I think her error was the bigger one, and her gossip that isn't consistent with relevant standards. Travers Smith is playing around in a fantasy world. If they want to look at each line of quote evidence and exonerate NatWest-Coutts, they're in the same sort of game as others at the moment, where they want words to mean something entirely different, simply because it's rubber stamped with some sort of legal firm doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's doesn't mean it's truthful. If you turn a word to mean what you want it to mean, the words have no meaning. And Mohammad Syed said, this report affirms that there were a number of shortcomings in our approach to account closures at Coutts, and in particular in the quality and consistency of our communications. The experience of some of our customers fell short of what they should expect, and we apologised to them. Well, that's the sort of bureaucratic nonsense which is trotted out by any business in the last 30 years that falls short of the customer service that is expected. I think we need to pull back from that sort of language, and I think we need to call a spade and say Coutts behaved like an absolute shit, and Alison Rose behaved like a fishwife. She couldn't keep her mouth shut. And both those things, both the behaviour of the bank itself and the behaviour of the boss, fell below standard and are demonstrably below standard. And start analysing the words that were written down means nothing. And trying to play around with words means nothing. Either we get to a point in our society where we say what we mean, and where words actually have a consistent interpretation, or we're talking in double Dutch, where words mean what we want them to mean at any particular moment. Safe means unsafe, unsafe means safe, and so on. And the government is party to this perversion of basic English. There used to be an organisation which campaigned for clear English. It doesn't matter which language you're using. Clarity and consistency in the use of words. And Coutts has now said that it will review the way it does exit letters. It doesn't matter the language it uses. What matters is why it's sending out these exit letters. And it says it's going to create a new framework to deal with commercial decisions to close accounts, including giving customers the opportunity to improve their finances where appropriate. The Queen's Bank. The Queen's Bank. Well, did they think about doing this to the Queen Mother? I think she was in debt to about £2 million or something, wasn't it? The cost of pink champagne. Did they think of sending her a letter that suggested she should consider banking at NatWest rather than at Coutts? No, I don't think they did. I think they're only too happy to service the Queen Mother's debt. And I think all of this stinks. Utterly stinks. And Farage is vindicated in this particular issue. And it would be wrong to pretend otherwise. It would be wrong to think, oh yeah, I don't like Farage, therefore we dismiss anything he does. No, we applaud when people get it right, and we question even our friends when they get it wrong. Otherwise, what's the point of speaking if the only thing we're going to do is be some sort of echo chamber? And I'm not using we in some sort of royal we. mention of the Queen's name and a mention of the Queen Mother's name hasn't gone to my head. I hope.